Welcome to Part 2 of EWIS Module G, which emphasizes the repair and replacement of rectangular connectors found on the aircraft. In this module, we will discuss procedures used in preparing and replacing line replaceable unit rack connectors. We will discuss the tooling and procedures required to accomplish these tasks. The example we will use for demonstration purposes is an ARINC 600 series connector. This type of connector would be used on a tray that holds an LRU, such as a flight control computer. This connector is stamped with a part number BACC66H21C07AA01. This is a Boeing part number. To find information in the Standard Wiring Practices Manual about this connector, we start by searching the Standard Wiring Practices Manual Cross-Reference Index for the stamped part number. We find that information about this connector is found in the Standard Wiring Practices Chapter 20-71-14. To remove the connector assembly from the tray, simply remove the 4 mounting screws as shown. To remove the inserts, remove the insert retainers by removing the screws that secure them to the shell. And then press the insert out of the shell with your thumbs. Assembly of this connector is the reverse of the removal process. To remove contacts from the connector insert, we must first know the proper extraction tool to use. Chapter 2071-14, Table 67 shows us removal tools acceptable for use with our contacts. For demonstration purposes, we will use the white or removal end of the M81969/1-01 tool. To remove the contacts, 1. Make a selection of a removal tool from Table 67. 2. At the rear of the connector, put the removal tool on the wire. 3. Put the wire through the forward part of the tool. 4. Align the removal tool with the contact cavity. 5. Push the tool into the cavity until it stops. 6. Carefully pull the wire and the tool from the contact cavity at the same time. 7. If the contact is not released, carefully remove the tool, turn the tool approximately 90 degrees, and do steps 3 through step 6 again. The following video will demonstrate contact removal. To remove the contact from the connector, slide the tool over the wire, slide it down into the connector until you feel the tines unlocked. Grab the tool and the wire together and pull them out. We saw in Table 66 that our insert utilizes contact part number BACC47EF1. To crimp the contacts for this connector, we need to find the correct tool. Chapter 20-71-14, Table 77 lists acceptable tools for this contact and connector. We will be using an M22520/2-01 or Daniels AF M8 crimper with an M22520/2-23 locator. The following video will demonstrate this process. To crimp the contact, place the contact on the wire, place the contact into the AF-M8 crimper, squeeze the handles until they release, and pull the contact out. The SWPM Chapter 2071-14, Table 120 contains suitable insertion tools for inserting our contact into the connector insert. We will use the green or insert end of the M81969/1-01 tool in our demonstration. To insert the contacts, 1. Make a selection of an insertion tool from Table 120. 2. Examine the contact. Make sure that the contact is straight. 3. Put the contact assembly in the insertion tool. 4. At the rear of the connector, axially align the insertion tool, the contact assembly, and the contact cavity. Make sure that the insertion tool is perpendicular to the rear face of the insert. 5. Carefully push the contact assembly into the contact cavity until it stops. Make sure that the insertion tool stays axially aligned with the contact cavity. 6. Carefully pull the insertion tool out of the contact cavity. 7. Lightly pull the wire to make sure that the contact is locked in the contact cavity. 8. If the contact is not locked in the contact cavity, pull the contact assembly out of the cavity and do steps 3 through 7 again. To insert the contact into the connector, slide the insertion tool over the wire and slide it down until it touches the shoulder of the contact. Place both the insertion tool and the contact into the connector and press it down until a click is felt, and give the wire a tug to make sure it's secure. Assembly of this connector is the reverse of the disassembly process illustrated earlier. Wiring should be secured to minimize movement. Wiring should be long enough to facilitate connector removal during future maintenance activity, and a drip loop that prevents moisture from entering the connector should be present. There are several types of backshells that can be installed on an ARINC Series 600 connector. Instructions for installing a backshell on these connectors are found in the Standard Wiring Practices Manual, Chapter 20-25-14. This concludes Part 2 of Module G. Please continue to Part 3 of Module G, Modular Terminal Blocks.